And it's 10 a.m. right here in Lagos, Nigeria. Good morning, good evening. Wherever in the world you're watching from, it's Business Morning live on Channels Television. I'm Ladi Williams. Great to have you join us. Well, today, we'll be talking commodities. We'll also look at opportunities with Forex trading in Nigeria. First of all, let's get some business news right here. The Nigerian Exchange Limited and Bank of Industry have signed a memorandum of understanding to deepen capital market reach in the country. The two organizations will collaborate to promote retail participation and listings, enhance information flow to stakeholders, and support market development. According to the BOI CEO, Mr. Olukayode Piton, the MOU will encourage companies to approach the exchange for initial public listings, which will serve as an actual window for divestments and access to wider funding options. And the federal government says it has increased the tax on tobacco products such as shisha and cigarettes from 20 to 30%, which took effect on June the 1st. According to the Minister of State for Health, the tax seeks to discourage the consumption of tobacco products as it reduces the risk of diseases. Mr. Mamara further says the ministry has commenced screening and issuance of operational licenses to qualified major tobacco businesses in the country in a bid to profile and monitor tobacco industry activities nationwide. And members of the Independent Petroleum Marketers Association, the Suleja branch, are threatening to embark on an industrial action following the non-payment of their bridging claims for 2021 till date. Secretary of the association, who was speaking with reporters in Abuja, explains that the situation has impacted negatively on their businesses while causing untold hardships to residents of Abuja and its environs who are experiencing shortage in supply. To take a listen.
As a result of non-payments of our bridging allowances by the Management of Petroleum Equalization Fund, PEF, in bracket, under Nigeria Mainstream and Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority, NMDPRA. Consequence, upon the non-implementation of the marketers' bridging claims, the Independent Petroleum Marketers Association under Suleja Depot, covering Abuja and environ, have unanimously resolved to withdraw our services. Number one, the Petroleum Equalization Fund, PEF in bracket, is owing us bridging claims from the year 2021 till date. Therefore, all our claims should be paid without any delay. About 85% of our staffs are being laid off because there is no money to pay their salaries. These include pump attendants, truck drivers, and other administrative staff. Number two, the marketers that were having 10 trucks and above can no longer maintain them due to lack of payment of our bridging claims.
All right, now to our first conversation. We're looking at Forex trading. So even though Forex trading is a relatively new development in Nigeria, it has become quite popular. Many people are interested in joining Forex trading and becoming consistently profitable traders. But there's also risk involved in trading Forex and every other market. Well, to help us understand this market and the importance of education, we have Oluwaseun Oyeleke, Country Director, Infinix Capital Nigeria Limited, and Michael Odo, Head of Sales and Operations, Infinix Capital Nigeria. Join us right here. Great to have you both on the program.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Yeah, so I'll start with you, Michael. You know, for a while now, there's been tremendous interest, you know, in Forex trading, especially with Gen Zs and, you know, millennials. And they believe it's an easy way, you know, to make profit, maybe turn 10 naira into 20 naira or 50 naira. And I'm wondering, is it really that easy?
Well, looking at the Gen Z, for instance, these guys are very good gadgets. Right. You know, they live and wake up from here. So if there's an opportunity for them to make money from here, of course, they will embrace it a lot more better than old men like us.
Right.
Right?
But is it easy?
It's actually, trading Forex is actually very easy, but you need to understand how it's done. So there's need for education, There's need to be patience, there need to be consistent in acquiring the adequate skills to trade profitably.
When you talk about patience, how long are we talking here?
So it depends on how fast.
10 years?
Obviously not 10 years, right? But let's say anything between 3 to 6 months of consistent learning.
Okay.
Not one Saturday and then you're trading on Monday morning.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, come to you now, Oluwaseun. You know, talking about knowledge, you know, how important, you know, is education in Forex trading really?
All right, yeah, thank you for that question. So education is very important at all level. So let's liken it to where we're in secondary school or probably university. So without being probably taught in class, there's no how you can pass exam. So the same thing applies to this industry as well.
Right.
So you need to learn from the scratch what is Forex, currency pairs, what controls the markets before you can actually do well. Then we get to the point of risk management level so that you'll be able to trade appropriately and not lose your funds.
And,
so
and
education
talking
is
about
very important.
Education, you know, some people say, you know, even though they need education, you know, getting a grasp of, you know, Forex trading, you know, is not that easy, even though, you know, you're getting all that education, but really understanding the basics.
Yeah, it's very easy for me. And I can say if you attend our lectures, whether online or physical class, I can categorically tell you that we will train you without any hidden charges, and you understand it to the fullest. So it's that easy. Just follow our process, our guidance. You do well.
So all I have to do is just, you know, come to you and you'll show me how to trade without paying anything.
Yes, absolutely.
Absolutely, yes.
Now, just to add to what Sean just said earlier, in addition to learning, people see it as complex because they want to make money the next minute.
Right.
So my recommendation is don't approach Forex trading with the mindset, the initial stage, I want to make money. Come from a standpoint of, I want to acquire the knowledge. When you do, then money would follow.
And, you know, many Nigerians, you know, I've heard in the past are quite skeptical of, you know, getting into Forex trading because we heard about, you know, a couple of these companies actually folding up and they cannot get their monies back. And even though they're even trading for them, you know, it's still, you know, a problem. They can't get access to their funds. They fold up, they run away, you know, like most of these MMM companies we're seeing nowadays. Okay.
So again, it comes back to people seeking the right things first. Now, if we make an advert now, say, come, I want to show you how to use 100 naira to become 10 billion in 24 hours. You won't have space here.
Right.
But if I come up here and say, okay, you know what, in the next 6 months, I want to take some guys on a journey on how to trade successfully. Maybe you see a lot of persons, and then after 2-3 weeks, the number would gradually reduce because most of these guys are looking for opportunities to make money now. And then these Ponzi scheme operators are cashing in on this grid level because they know this is what these guys want, all right? And they want to just quickly get in there. And I know the bad news. When it goes bad, everybody come back and label the Forex traders that, oh, I lost money to Forex trading.
Right.
And then, which in actual fact, if you go back and ask those guys who actually lost money to Forex, did they actually trade Forex? The answer is always a no. I gave money to my friend. My friend introduced me. This happened, that happened. I'm not saying Forex traders don't lose money, all right? But most of these people that are coloring the bad press we have around Forex trading, they actually have not traded, they've participated in Ponzi scheme operators, basically.
Right.
Yes.
But how do you identify, you know, the Ponzi schemes?
All right, so Infinox is here. For instance, on our own side, we're saying, come and learn how to trade for free. We're not charging. We're not saying pay X amount. We're running trainings online, physical, every day of the week in our offices, both in Lagos and Abuja. So if you really want to learn how to trade, dedicate time to learning. Forget about the money you want to make now. Acquire the skills first, and then you can approach the market and trade and become profitable.
And so if you know, I'm out there, I want to learn all of this, how do I, you know, contact you guys?
All right, okay, so basically, websites, www.infinox.com, social media, Infinox_Nigeria. And then we have our office at 16B Allen Avenue in Lagos here. We have presence in what's called Abuja as well. You know, and from our Instagram page, send us a message you'd like to join. Even from our page, there's a link to join the Telegram classes free. You know, you don't need, the only thing you need to be in that class is have what's called smart devices connected to the internet, and then you can rock and roll.
Okay, so take for instance now, I want to start, you know, trading Forex, but I'm not the best trader. And even though I've learned, you know, the basics and all of that, but I still cannot trust myself to make profit. What do I do?
So the question is, have you actually learned? That's the question I'm asking you.
Okay.
Have you actually learned? Because if you have learned, you would trust yourself. But if you had watched 2, 3 YouTube videos and you feel, okay, I saw the way the candles was moving, I think I can do the magic now. It's not magic. You need to really, really, really learn. That's why I'm emphasizing on consistency and learning for about 3 to 6 month period, so that you can even have an understanding of the whole market structure. You cannot just wake up and say, okay, I want to start trading. It doesn't work.
But what if I don't want to go through the stress? I want somebody else to trade.
If you want to go through the stress, then you can do what's called copy trading.
Okay.
Yes, exactly. So the professionals will take you by the hand. So you're not giving money to them. You still open an account with Infinox, okay, as a broker. Then the professionals take you by the hand, copy their trade. So that's what you do.
So I put my whole life's worth on somebody else's trade.
No, not really.
No.
Not really.
So the idea basically,
there are controls to this actually.
The idea is that we have the platform.
Right.
They are the professionals. There's you who don't want to go through the stress. And we're saying, okay, we have a platform where we've invited all the potential profitable traders into one room. And we then say, you who don't know how to trade or don't have the patience on how to trade, why not just download our app, right? And then you can see individual results of all these traders we have in this room. And then you can begin to mirror their trades using your own predetermined risk, right? So you have your own life in your hands.
Right.
So if the trader is not performing well at any point, you can switch traders because we have all of them in one room for you.
Because trading does come with a lot of emotional stress.
It does, but it can be controlled.
Most people will be like, you know what, I cannot handle this. You know what, how about, you know, just make money for me.
It's about psychology. Okay, so this can be controlled. Like I said, it's just about your, how should I put it now? The level of risk you might want to take.
Right.
So you set the levels there. I don't want to lose more than this. If this happens, then take me out. So saying people lose money, well, it might probably be to the lack of knowledge in the first place. Another thing is trying to copy the professional. If you don't do the right settings, you might also lose even the funds. So the question now is, how good are you? The question now is, how much of education do you have on this same particular business we're talking about? So that now depends on you.
Quite interesting. But what's the profit range like? Because when I hear, you know, Forex trading, you know, I think of maybe little profit, maybe 2% here, 3%. But what are the margins really like?
All right. So the margins are largely dependent on who is trading.
Okay.
Let me give us a little example to play with. I want to take us back to 2019 where we had dollar exchange at how much? 350. Today we're at 610. So let's assume that you had reliable information from wherever source you had that data that says that in 2022, exchange rate is going to be 610 to a naira, sorry, to a dollar. What would you do?
What would I do?
Yes, as a businessman.
So I just...
You're going to buy as many dollars as you could buy in 2019 at 350 with the expectation, and hold it, with the expectation that when it gets to 610, you sell for a profit, right? Now, you see, that was the forecast. The exchange rate didn't just jump from 350 to 610.
Right.
It kept on going and going and going. Well, maybe it's still going. We don't know.
We don't know. We don't know.
Now,
that. Right.
So if you're taking a position at that point and you bought as many dollars, and then it grows and you are at 410, you're like, hey, it's like I made a lot of money.
Time to take profit.
Time to take profit.
Yeah.
And then you sell off at that point. you've made that degree of profit.
And profit is profit.
Profit is profit, yes. So then if, for instance, I stayed longer, and maybe I'm thinking or I'm forecasting that it'll get to 1,000, and I keep holding, I'll still make more profits than you, but we're trading the same currency.
Are you hinting at 1,000 at some point? Just checking.
Well, I remember a conversation I saw on some years back. I said, okay, dollar is going to get to 500. You're like, hey, that'll be crazy. You know, today it's 600. 1,000 is not impossible because we're consuming a lot of it and then we're not producing anything that's earning us that dollar. So if we don't have the right controls in place, we'll hit 1,000.
And, you know, looking at the current situation now with the war in Ukraine, this has definitely impacted the currency market. How are traders navigating all of this?
Okay, coming to that, that's actually influenced the whole forex markets in the whole world actually, and it's actually affecting inflation as we speak right now. There's so much demand for oil, okay, just because probably Russia has stopped, people have stopped buying from Russia, do you understand? Just because of the war and all of that.
And we have an energy war going on too.
Then exactly, so most of the countries now, they're hiking the rates so that they can balance the whole thing. But doing that is also affecting the inflation rates as well. So the question is, how do we make profit from all of this? So forex trader doesn't have a problem when it comes to making profit. If it goes down, you make money. If it goes up, you also make money. So it's about your knowledge. It's about what you know, basically. So the truth is, will dollar keep getting strengthened by the day? Obviously, no. It can't just keep getting that strength for a long time. The time will come, at a particular time, dollar or pounds was better than pounds, do you understand? But today, we have better dollar, okay? And we're seeing other currency buying down to dollar.
Yeah, because I've seen that dollar index actually you know, hit new highs, you know, at this point.
But the truth, if you understand the market levels, like it did something yesterday, you could actually take the other direction of the market and still make profit. So if you sell, you make profit. If it's going down, you make profit. If analyst says it's going to go up today, you also make profit as well. But to what extent? So that now determines the level of education that you have on this forex market.
So looking at, you know, where the dollar is right now, do you still see more strength for the dollar going forward, or will it peak anytime soon? Because I know traders really depend on that information.
Yeah, with the current hike going on, it will still be strengthened, but that doesn't necessarily mean it will keep going up, basically. So there are other fundamentals that drive the market apart from interest rates. So other factors will also contribute dollar actually coming down. As again, it's only depending on interest rates.
Right. So I know there are a couple of traders that, you know, like to either long or short, you know, most of these currencies. And can I go for a short on your platform? Is it possible?
Okay, so...
Because I'm looking at shorting something at this point.
You want to short something?
Yeah.
Okay, so what do you want to short?
So you can actually long or short. So forex trading is... I'll just let me put it on the table here. There are lots of data sets. The Russia war impacts some on dollars. That's data. What a forex trader is doing is sitting there and saying, okay, in all of this data, how do I interpret them into the impact on whatever I want to short or long? So you cannot just wake up here and say, I want to short or long.
Right.
You need to take a look at those data.
Exactly.
All right. You need to interpret those data
correctly,
and then decide. Yes, that's a valid point. You need to interpret them correctly.
Correctly, because
so if you don't interpret them correctly, then you would bear the brunt of losing money. Right. If you interpret them correctly, you would also make money. However, in interpreting this data correctly or otherwise, the market moves in different, it goes up. Yes. So, right. you know, at some point, you might be shorting when it's doing a correction, and then you think, oh, this is going this way, and the next thing you think is just going up. You're like, hey, what's happening? And you're panicking and you're closing your trades.
Right.
This is because you don't have adequate knowledge about what you're doing. Forex traders, we know how this market operates, and then which is why we're saying everybody learn how to trade. Trading is quite profitable, but you need to get the knowledge first.
You need to learn.
You need to learn.
You need to get the knowledge. Thank you so much, Michael Udo, Head Sales and Operations, Infinix Capital, and Oluwaseun Oyeleke, Country Director, Infinix Capital Nigeria Limited. It was great having you both, and I hope that I can make some profit with Forex, with your guidance at some point.
Yes, definitely.
If you make time to learn.
All right, thank you so much. All right, so after the break, commodities market update is next. Do stay with us. This is Business Morning. Welcome back now for the commodities market update. We see Brent crude futures for September. The more actively traded contract rose 63 cents to $113 a barrel. Well, the less liquidly traded August contract, which expires today, was at $116.08 per barrel. The U.S. West Texas Intermediate crude futures climbed by 49 cents to $110.27 per barrel. Let's get more now from Bonale Agbaji, analyst, financial derivatives company. Bonale, great to see you again.
Great to see you too.
So this, the volatility, carries on. We've seen this constantly, in this oil market. The up-down movement, and it keeps going.
It keeps going, yeah. So as at today, although earlier today and late yesterday we had seen oil prices, inch up, but right now it has fallen to about $115 per barrel, and that's just because the U.S. had released fuel stock buildup. So in terms of not crude oil inventories, but this time around refining capacity is already at about 95%, and that's the highest in 4 years around this time. So it's quite huge. I think Biden is doing so much to make sure that he's been working very, very hard. He's even expected to visit Saudi Arabia sometime in July, and obviously I'm sure that's obviously to discuss increasing oil production around the world. And also just to mention the fact that OPEC is currently meeting now. They had a 2-day meeting. It started yesterday. A lot of people don't really expect much, and that's just because they met earlier in June, and they had decided to increase output by about 648,000 barrels. Until today, they haven't still met up with that. You have issues with, many countries within the OPEC plus. Libya, for example, has suspended exports. Ecuador has also, announced some force majeures. Nigeria, Angola, some of these countries are still struggling to meet oil production or the oil targets that they currently have. So there's a comment that one of the OPEC delegates mentioned that I think is quite important. He mentioned that, this up-down movement is literally, or the efforts to increase supply is only for the oil market and meaning the price, but he believes that, in quotes, meaningless. So it just shows you where some of these oil producers are thinking and what they believe would actually push oil prices in the other direction.
And do you think these oil producers will continue to struggle with output at this point?
I think they would, and that's just because, a lot of them have more or less reached their capacity in terms of oil production, and also so many countries are facing the heat in terms of their, economic growth, inflation and all that. So it's quite hard to make, new investments within that field. And obviously that brings us to Nigeria with the news about, the fact that federal government had actually received 2 trillion naira.
That's a lot of money.
That's a lot of money. But while, doing my research, they actually did mention that they haven't received all of this money, and this was bids that were made last year between 2020 2021, and some of the marginal oil fields, the companies have actually mentioned that they haven't even received the licenses yet. So everything is just very slow when it comes to increasing production within this country. Currently we produce about 1.3 million barrels per day. It's nowhere close to the 1.7 1.8 2 million barrels that we actually have the capacity of producing. Right now, if those licenses were, issued at that time, most of these, we would have seen, an increase in our production, but that's not the case.
How soon do we see them actually closing this?
I'm sure now, now the discussion around for the globe is more or less, trying to increase oil supply and also benefit from these high prices. So I'm sure the government is working tirelessly to make sure that they can, although they did mention that those licenses have been issued, and it's just for some of the oil companies to actually pay up to received
because
them.
it just feels like some countries will not benefit from these prices, the way it's looking.
Yeah, it seems like that. But we focusing on Nigeria, we do hope that we are still benefiting from it. Our external reserves are showing that, but we could obviously push that for more.
We could do more
at
this point. Well, Nigeria's soybean production is up.
Yes, great news.
Yeah, that's some good news.
It's the kind of news we'd like to hear, especially the fact that, we always talk about commodity.
If production is going down here, at least we're having
commodity price, especially in the agricultural space. Agriculture is globally is literally the talk of, is the buzz around town right now. And it's news that actually came out from the United States Department of Agriculture that mentioned that Nigerian soybean production is expected to increase by 21% from the harvest period from October till next year. So that's between 2022 and 2023, which is great news. They did mention that farmers are interested just because we had seen price increases within the agricultural space, and particularly with soybeans. And also they mentioned that investors are interested in that field as well, and also they're trying to look for ways to educate farmers in producing high yielding varieties of this particular product, agricultural produce, and the fact that obviously technologies that would also increase and make it worthwhile for some of these investments, and also motivate the farmers as well. But it's great news for us in terms of animal feeds, because obviously soybeans is used as animal feeds, and it obviously transcends into other aspects of other aspects of agricultural products, and even positive multiplier effect in the economy.
So there's an export demand.
Export demand, yes.
Okay, well, it's quite big.
Yes,
okay.
Yes, and obviously the fact that we have the potential to produce the quality that would exporters would actually like.
Interesting. All right, now let's look at the naira.
Yes.
We're seeing 615 in the parallel market, the market we don't like to talk about, and that's quite worrying. It's
worrying, but I think it's just for this period, just because we're seeing increase in demand for the Hajj pilgrimage, and obviously that is negative for the naira at the moment, and also the demand is quite high and the supply is really dwindling, and we're not really seeing capital investments within the foreign direct investments within the country. So that is terrible for the parallel market at the moment.
And I see some goodies, on your slide there. It shows that the import cover is at 8.86 months.
Yes. So that's just because of, the reserves. The reserves haven't, I think they're currently at about $38 billion right now. So it's still good. The buffer is nice. And we do expect that it will definitely still be growing. We have, good news from different aspects of agricultural, space. And also, oil prices, it's not yet below $100 per barrel yet, and it will definitely fall marginally, and it would be nice to wait to see what the outcome of this OPEC meeting would be.
And this reserves accretion, now what impact can we expect from that?
So obviously, in terms of supporting the naira as well, is a major. Actually, is the temporary positive effect and that we'll see in the market, and also the fact that when a country builds its reserves, it makes the investment space nice for investors that want to come.
And hopefully we can get more dollars.
And hopefully we can get more dollars, because right now getting dollars, even apart from parallel markets, even through the official space is quite tough. I've heard a lot of complaints about people not even being able to access through the banks and all that. And there's this talk of the banks not even giving cash at the moment. They've mentioned that some banks are claiming that you get the dollar card and you spend, and I think you have the spend of about $1,000 a day, and that's it's obviously not nice to hear. Yeah,
it's quite limiting for the cards there. All right, let's look at the domestic commodities market now. Yes. How's that looking?
It's still in the red. It's not great at the moment. We're still in the planting season. We do expect that once the rains subside a bit and we start, the harvest period, it should obviously we should see an opposite trajectory for some of these prices.
Yeah, because I'm seeing that it's still rising. Most of these prices are still rising.
Yes. So you have the likes of tomatoes, rice, more or less the major staples, that are in high demand at the moment. And obviously, the Salah celebrations is also coming, so we do expect that these prices would inch up more. But at the same time, it would be nice to expect see what would happen with prices during the harvest season.
Can we see these prices actually peaking at some point? Because they've been rising constantly.
At the moment, the factors that would, allow the prices peak to a certain point are still, we're still seeing those negative factors play out in the economy, except you see something significantly different when in terms of, increasing supply or a strategic investment to boost commodity supply within the space is when you'll see, prices either peak or, start to fall dramatically.
And also we've seen, global agricultural products also going up. How are they looking now?
Right now, they're still quite, even though, you have a situation where weather is favorable to some of these agricultural produce, but the demand is, really high. And, the global space is, threatened by this high inflationary environment, high interest rates, and those obviously are hitting some of these farmers and producers very hard.
Right, we're still talking food security. That's a major conversation.
Yes. And the like of cocoa, I think cocoa is high, but it's great for us in terms of the fact that cocoa is also one of our...
Are we taking advantage of the high prices?
I think we are, although we're not seeing any dramatic increase or change in the level of production within the space. And obviously, that's just because it requires significant investments. And right now, the investment space is very slow and very, tough. A lot of people don't have the money to, inject or into that space. But we do hope that at the same time, by the time all of this bad wind settles a bit, it would more or less mean that these strategic investments will be top priority.
Right. We need the bad winds to actually settle as soon as possible,
yes.
At this point. Thank you so much, Bolanle Agbaje, Analyst Financial Director. It was great having you.
Thank you for having me.
All right, now, so we'll take a moment now. When we come back, we head to the markets.
The Dangote Petroleum Refinery is going to be the largest single-train petroleum refinery in the world. Dangote Industries have enormous confidence in the potential of Nigeria. Africa is like an unexplored gold mine. We know there is huge opportunities here.
What makes this project different than others is for sure the size. This project is transformation for the country and for the continent, I would say.
The Dangote fertilizer plant will transform the agricultural sector. We go for the state-of-the-art technology. It will help to create employment and to reduce the massive demand on foreign imports.
It's going to have a major impact on the lives of the Africans. It's a moment of great pride.
Welcome back. Let's head on to the markets now. We have Ini standing by with all the details right there. Great to have you, Ini.
Thank you so much, Laddie. Good morning. Welcome to the market segment. Well, let's start from the unlisted market. Today, we see that they're in the positive, 0.08% there. Well, they're still holding that 1 trillion. And I think one of these days we need to get someone to tell us what's really going on with the market. So we see it sometimes in the positive, sometimes in the negative, but they're still maintaining the market cap, and I wonder what's going on with that. And then volume, 72,550. Valued at 10.11 million and 20 deals. This is what happened at the unlisted market yesterday. And then we go to the fixed income market. Still mixed sentiment we see there. As we spoke yesterday, we spoke to an analyst yesterday who told us that, yes, the FARC had been approved, and we're still waiting for the liquidities to stream into the fixed income market, and then we will start seeing perhaps some movement, at least more movement. I guess that's why it's beginning to stream in. We see mixed sentiments in the market. We saw it yesterday. This is figures from yesterday. So we had 18 deals on the fixed, federal government bonds yesterday. And as we've been discussing, mostly the short-term yields are the ones that are most attractive at this time. Analysts say that investors are being very careful because there seems to be a lot of uncertainty, not just in Nigeria this time, but globally. So there we see that the March 2036 security had 7 transactions on it. July 2034, 5th. And I think there was a bit of movement in the short and medium term. Yesterday, there was a bit of movement on the yields, but the long term has remained fixed for some time now. 21st of January 2040 had only 42 had only 2 transactions yesterday, and a total of 18 deals valued at 2.2 billion naira. For the Treasury bonds, now we have for this, which is going to mature in November this year, had 4 deals. And then you see there again, it's just August. This is just, let me say next month, because tomorrow we're in July. So August 22nd, this is going to mature in August 22nd. 25th had 11 deals. So people are like just trying to get it off and see if they can get liquidity out of it. July had 2, and then the other one, that's the 11th of August, had 2 deals. A total of 19 deals valued at 7.75 billion naira on the NTB. Almost much better than yesterday. Yesterday, I mean, the previous day, there was no transaction at all on OMO and the CBN, but at least today we had 6 deals on the 2nd of May 2023, valued at 1.5 billion. Also on CBN bills yesterday, as opposed to what we had the previous day, 13 deals valued at 4.25, and we see that the most favored there was November. In fact, all of them that had transactions the day before were going to mature this year, November, October, August 2022. So they made up the 13 deals that were active yesterday at the fixed income market, at the money market. Ladi, so, you know, we've been talking about the issue of FAC and how it could have bring some movements, liquidity into the market. We're waiting for that. But I think if we compare yesterday's transactions to the day before, we see a little bit of movement, and it looks like it's beginning to stream in, but we're waiting for the full. And yesterday we had an auction, so I think tomorrow we'll discuss
We'll get that information tomorrow. All right, we'll continue with the markets. We'll look at what happened in the equities market just after this break. Do stay with us. This is Business Morning. Welcome back. Still watching Business Morning. Let's head on to the markets now, see how the equities market fared yesterday. We have Ini with all of that.
Yeah, still standing here. So let's go to the equities market now and see that, I mean, I think that the market is still trying to, that's the equities market this time, is trying to find its stand because we saw at intraday yesterday, the market was marginally up. But by the close of trade, it was just hovering around red and green. This is what I call orange, Ladi. I mentioned orange the other day. This is what I call orange. You know, when it's still trying to decide which way to go.
Not red, not green.
Not red, not green. And then the equities cap has still not reached that 28 trillion naira yet. We're hoping it will. We had more volume yesterday, but value and deals were lower than the previous day. We have Rotimi Fakayejo now joining us to give us more information about happenings in the equities. Good morning, Mr. Fakayejo.
Good morning, Ini.
So what's happening in the market? I call it an orange time. Is there anything like that?
Well, there's nothing like that, but what we are seeing is very, very close to that. We've seen quite good stability in the market. And we also noticing that the volume and value of transactions traded daily is beginning to dwindle. This is not limited to the equity market alone. We've seen the same thing happen also in the fixed income market. But I think all in all, when you make a comparison, the equity market still stands tall in the midst of every happening within the country and even at the world at large. So I believe strongly that we've come to the end of second quarter, the half year, and that definitely implies a lot to the market. The All-Share Index is still standing tall at over 51,000 basis points, and that is quite a good one to really, really commend. Though the month of June has been significant in some extent, we've seen some unusual volumes done within the month. And at the same time, also, we hope that as we cross to the third quarter, which is the second half of the year, we definitely may see more transactions, but it won't be as what we have seen in the last 6 months.
All right, Mr. Fakajo, you know, when you say that the equities is still standing tall, a lot of people will say, I mean, I wasn't expecting you to say anything less. Anyone even from the fixed income space will also say the same thing.
Well, I think it's just the truth, because with what we have seen all around us, what we have seen in the global market, the All-Share Index expectedly will have been seen in the neighborhood of about 45,000 basis points. But still, we have it at over 50,000 basis points. And I think what is responsible for this is the performance of the listed equities on the market. Fantastic of them, they've been doing very, very well. And in terms of yield, in terms of stability, and in terms of future projection. So I think that with the way we have it right now, there's really nothing to worry about concerning the market. Election will come and go. So irrespective of the cautious trading that we have seen right now, definitely we are going to overcome this. We've seen this happen in year 2011, year 2015, year 2019, and is coming close again in 2023. So we always come above board at the end of the day. So what we, for the half year and seeing the performance of the market year-to-date position positive in double digits, I believe strongly that the market has really done well so far. So investors should just leave their money intact and believe that they're going to get good returns in terms of dividend yield at the end of the financial year.
Strong faith there, Mr. Fakajo. I think I'm going to give some of our viewers your address so that if anything happens to their money, they can come to you. But please tell us, what's going on with the banking sector? Yesterday, we knew that FBN Holding really struggled to get this sector into the green, but GT Core and some other ones, ETI, you know, there were some profit taking. Why is it getting so much attention?
Well, we should know that the banking sector stocks have the largest numbers of shares in issue in the market. There is none of them that is having less than 20 billion shares. Maybe the ones at the peak is having about 35 billion shares per company. And that implies that there is always more to trade in that particular sector. And secondly, it is the major sector that foreign portfolio investors still have investment in. And we are still seeing some sell-off from the foreign portfolio investors. And that is why we are seeing a lot of pressure on GTCO, being the flagship of foreign portfolio investors. So we're going to see that at least stable, maybe after the end of the second quarter. But definitely by the time the effect or the impact of the foreign portfolio investors come to the BRS minimum, that we begin to see stability in the banking sector again. But one other thing that is going to stand tall for the banking sector stocks is that majority of them are going to do interim dividend. So at the end of the second quarter, the half year, we are definitely going to see expectation of dividend return. So this definitely also will impact on them. But for now, we're still going to see that that sector still suffering in the red.
Okay, I mean, you pay the price for being at the top. You get all the attention, positive and negative. I guess that's what's happening to that counter. But you mentioned politics the other time, and I think this is an important factor at this time in this country for investors and for everyone. You know, you're finding where to keep your money. Politicians have a lot that they're maybe withdrawing to fund political activities. Now, today is the last day in June. It means it's the last day in the first half of the year. What, from your view, would you say, what color would you give to the activities in the equities market for the first half of 2022?
Well, like I said, the performance of the year-to-date performance of the market is positive, and is in double digits. That is quite amazing for what we have seen so far. And I think for me, the market has really performed well. it has performed exceedingly well, above the expectations of most investors. Though it may seem lopsided to an extent, that is, we have the major 5 most capitalized companies being in the forefront of lifting the market. But at the same time, too, whenever the market comes down, they are always responsible. So it's quite a good one coming from them, the likes of MTN, the likes of Airtel, the like of Dangote Cement. Those 3 are responsible for about 60% of the total market capitalization. So, and they've really done substantially well for now. And we are not seeing much laxity in the other sectors. It's just that these ones have outperformed every other sector.
So what's your outlook for the second half? Is it just this handful that you think will drive the market sentiment?
Well, I don't see the kind of performance we've seen in the first year repeating itself in the third quarter. We may not really see as good a performance in the third quarter because as at that time, we'll be drawing very, very close to the electionary period. And that implies a lot. So much uncertainty, insecurity may increase, and a lot of other things may begin to happen, which we may not really see clearly for now. So investors are definitely not going to be putting in as much money as they have been doing. And if there will be withdrawals or sell-off at all, we may begin to see it coming in trickles. So all in all, we don't expect much better performance than what we have seen in the up to the second quarter of the year.
Okay, all right. Thank you so much, Rotimi Fakayejo, stockbroker with NGX, for your views. Do enjoy the rest of your day. But I mean, I think one other area we would like to talk about in future would be if it is not possible to actually have an election and have so much uncertainty in the market. But that's a conversation for another day. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
So, Ladi, that's it. Elections are a major factor driving investor sentiment one way or the other. But, I mean, as I mentioned there, it would really be interesting. Do we really need to have so much uncertainty because we are going to be choosing, you know, a new leader?
The next president. Quite interesting times. And it'll be interesting to see how the second half actually plays out for the markets.
Doesn't look like it to be very green.
Yeah, we've seen how, you know, the global equities markets have performed in the first half. Not too great, but you see the NGX here shining. Thank you so much, Ini.
You sound like Mr. Fakayejo right now.
Thank you, Ini. All right, now let's drill down on other markets that have not performed well this year. Talking about the crypto market, we see Bitcoin there failed to recover above the 21,000 mark. If you look at the fear greed index this morning, we see it's 11 points. Extreme fear in the market, showing sentiment with traders right now. They're still very much afraid in that market, and we see that happening as Bitcoin gets volatile at this point. Let's look at the price of Bitcoin there, $19,425 there. It's down about 2.81% this morning. We're seeing volume traded $23.19 billion. We're seeing that the crypto space is still quite volatile right now. Let's bring in Ileke Ayinde now, digital market analyst. Great to have you in the program. Good morning.
Hi, Ladi. Good morning. Thanks for having me.
Great to have you. Well, we'll see where the market is right now. We're seeing Bitcoin losing that 20,000 mark again this time, and it's at 19K. Some traders are scared that it might go lower at this point. How are you seeing the market right now?
Okay, right now the market's actually very, very messed up. You know, from all the indicators, it's very clear that the market is messed up. Right. Recently, we saw a very popular publication, the Independent News by the UK, all right, stating that the search for Bitcoin is dead. That term has an all-time high, all right, which is indicative of one of the worst crashes in the history of the crypto market. So right now, we're experiencing a lot of sell-off in the market, and with the fear and greed index at this all-time low, where we can officially say that the crypto winter is here. And from the look of things, it's here to stay for a while, all right? Because even currently, the Bitcoin miners are beginning to sell off their Bitcoin, and this is indicated by the amount of Bitcoin that is going on exchanges, or that's being sold off on exchanges. And this has brought Bitcoin to a point of capitulation. All right. So going forward, we might see more fear in the market, and we might see, the scariest part is the fact that we do not actually know if we're reached rock bottom. All right. And so we're going to see a lot of fear in the market going forward.
Exactly. No, everyone's looking for that bottom in most markets now. But it's winter right now in the crypto space. What's the way forward for traders at this point?
Okay, so this is not anything that hasn't happened before. All right, the bears and the bulls are necessary for the market to be stable. So for the average crypto trader right now, is the classic advice from the president of El Salvador, President Bukele, who said that if you're a crypto trader, you just need to take a break from the chat and go enjoy your life. All right. So this is the advice for the average crypto trader, because the market is definitely going to bounce back. All right. And one of the advantages that we see in the bear market is the fact that it shakes out a lot of soft hands, all right, weak hands, and a lot of projects that are not sustainable. So the best way to exit the bear market for an average trader would be to exit with a rich portfolio. Anyway, that is if you still have money to buy the dip.
That's it. Everyone talking about buying the dip, but some don't have money to buy that dip. All right, thank you so much, Leka Irinde, digital market analyst. It was great talking to you.
Thank you so much.
All right, now let's look at the top alts by market cap. There we see BNB there down 3.31%. It's mostly red on that counter. Cardano at 44 cents, that's down 3.54%. And eCash there down 4.12%. XRP trying to lose that 30-cent range at this point. It's down 3.23%. So it's mostly red. We're seeing double-digit losses this morning. Looking at the top 5 losers, we see USTC there down 37%. The top gainers list quite lean. Just ZRX topping that counter at 33 cents. ZRX used to be $1 a few months ago, but now we're seeing it down at 33 cents. We're seeing sell-offs on all. No cryptocurrency is safe in this market at this point. Uniswap there, a decentralized exchange, it's up 0.80%. Flip over to the top loser, we see it's double-digit losses with USTC, the stable coin, down 37.13%. Storage also down 13.54%. And we see Matic there in the losers counter. And Axie Infinity, that's one of the play-to-earn tokens there, down 9.72%. So it's mostly red in the crypto space this morning. All right, that's it for the markets, and that's it on show today. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to join us on Business Incorporated at 1:30 for more business stories and more Africa-related stories in the world. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Ladi Williams. Bye for now.